All right. Hi, everybody. I am here, and I'm looking at my that X1 Carbon, the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon printer, and I've had it for maybe 2 months now, and have been using it quite a bit. I'm guessing I might have 150 hours worth of printing on it. Just recently, I got the notice on the screen that the Lidar camera lens needs to be cleaned. And I guess this coincides with something that happened on one of my prints. I was printing a piece, a multiple of 6 on one bed, right? Well, a few of the pieces spaghettied out, and the printer did not detect it. And I was only able to salvage, by the time I came back and looked at it, it was so far along, I just let it finish. And I was able to salvage 2 out of 6 of those pieces. So with both those things happening, it was like, well, it's time for the first maintenance cleaning on it, right? So I decided to not only clean the Lidar camera lens, but then I went and cleaned the fiber rods, and even cleaned and re-greased the Z rods on them. Just cleaned up everything inside. Now, Bambu Lab has a good short video on how to clean the rods, right? So I followed their procedure. And so I went in the rear and loosened up the belt tensioners, making sure that both the belts moved back and forth, right? Then I sprayed the carbon rods with alcohol, and yeah, it's the 99% stuff. And sprayed them down and wiped them off, and I did that twice. Then I went back and retightened the belt tensioners, and they say make sure it's not too tight, right? And I guess it's a feel, right? There's you don't want them loose where the belts are going to start slipping, where the tensioner is going to start moving around, but you don't want it too tight because you'll strip it out. So it's just a matter of feel. Once it's snug, don't force it, right? So after that, I went and cleaned off the Lidar camera lens. Now, it's super easy. You just take the cover off, and you can see where the camera lens is facing down. It's right there on the bottom right corner. And I just got a cotton swab and more alcohol on there and wiped everything clean. And while I was in there, I was just looking around, cleaning everything in sight, right? And internally, I was looking around and wiping off everything, even the side walls, any ledges, stuff like that. And I was looking see if there was any black dust or anything that had been accumulating, but it was all just super clean, right? I've read in forums or some guys with their videos, and they're saying everything was coated with thick black dust and all that stuff. Is like, well, I've never seen any of that, right? And so with the black dust, I was thinking, well, maybe they're clinging to the Z rods because they're greased, right? So I went and checked those, and it was like, no, they're actually pretty clean. But I went ahead and wiped them down and put a new coat, a fresh coat of white lithium grease on them, and everything seems to be rolling around just really good, right? Never saw all that stuff. So I went and recalibrated the printer and was preparing for the next print job, right? And I was going to use the Polymaker ASA this time. And by the way, I have been using cardboard spools with no problem on that AMS. Yeah, I think they're in there right now. There's 3 spools that are cardboard. A couple of them are from Overture, and one of them from Polymaker, and I've had no problems with them. They're rolling around like they should, right? I have the lid on, and everything's doing fine. The only problem I had was when I read on some forums, and a lot of guys have designed the little rims that you print off, and you can snap them over the cardboard spool, and it's supposed to make it work. But I didn't have problems until after I did that. So I took those off and I've been running just plain cardboard. I guess sooner or later I'm going to keep my eyes on it, and maybe the rollers on the AMS, maybe they're going to need to be cleaned. You know, just basic maintenance, just like everything else. But yeah, I've had no problems with cardboard, and actually I've had really no problems with, you know, with the bed or any kind of adhesion problems. Or, you know, I've read through so many forums, and everybody's just bitching and moaning, and it seems like they're, you know, I don't know if it's user error or printer error, but I've had no problems like that. My machine has been, you know, running great this whole time, and I guess I'm lucky, right? But it'd be interesting to see, are the earlier units, when they first started shipping out and filling out, they finished the Kickstarter and the first wave of production, when did the quality start going down? Was it after that? Now they're out there mass manufacturing, and is it that later batches that are having the quality control? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But it would be interesting to see, because I've had no problems with mine. I've been totally satisfied with it. But I do expect in due time, because this is just a machine, right? And just like any other printer, you're going to have to replace, you know, nozzles, of course, and you might have to consider replacing belts, stuff like that. I mean, they're moving parts, and just like any other printer, sooner or later you're going to have to tackle it, right? And the downtime might just be replacing these parts. And, you know, I have no problem with that. I've worked on every one of my machines, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 others that sooner or later, yeah, I've had to work on it. So expect it. You know, don't be surprised that, you know, after a year or 2 years that you have to replace belts or something like that. I guess the only thing that I've had to put up with is it is quite noisy. I'd have to tell you that. But I got used to that fairly quickly. Yeah, so I guess it's a matter of priorities, right? Now, with these other printers I've had, the Ender 3s and the CR10, they're heavily upgraded, right? And I put new boards on them, you know, because I, you know, upgraded them to a 32-bit board, and they have the upgraded stepper drivers, and it really quieted everything down, and that was great. They're super silent now. All you hear is the fans. But is that a priority? I guess it was a great side effect here, but because with the X1 Carbon it's noisier, but hey, I can live with it because they totally blow away any other printer I have, right? So I can live with the noise. I guess it's a matter of priorities, like I said. I guess the only thing I've added to this printer so far is, well, the poop chute that I designed and put on the rear. And you can find that on Printables, actually. Just look up on printables.com and look up V3 Precision, and you'll see, you know, I'm starting to load up a lot of designs and stuff like that. And this, I have a couple of versions of a poop chute back there. But the only other thing I've tried different is I found a 16 by 16 paver, but I didn't use the concrete paver. I found one that's made like a hard rubber, and from the feel of it, it feels like it's a recycled vulcanized tire rubber. You know, it's really hard like that. But it seems to be working great. You know, I put that on there, and I'll run that for a while. And of course, after you do that, I recalibrated. Of course, anytime I work on any part of that, you know, and get it all stable again, I always, you know, recalibrate and then print on. Well, I guess that is it for this video. I just wanted to show you the steps I took for the first maintenance cleanup, and everything's running great, and I hope you have the same luck. So I guess that's it. You know, just thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch for my next video.